Hello and welcome to Midnight Erotic Channel. No. Origin of concepts, of course, but when you look at the picture here, it could very well be a erotic night. In this episode, I'll tell you something very interesting about the origin and the inspiration source for the Pleiades, the seven sisters from Greek mythology. And funny enough, while I was writing my script for this video, I suddenly got uh, a new something I haven't been thinking about before, um, and I'll come to that later in the video. But in Greek mythology, the Pleiades were seven mountain nymph sisters, the Seven Sisters, the daughters of the Titan Atlas and the sea nymph Pleione. To protect them from the relentless pursuit of the giant hunter Orion, Zeus placed them in the night sky as a star cluster. This is also known as the constellation Pleiades, but that's exactly what I have to tell you about my brand new discovery here 5 minutes ago or 10 minutes ago. The Pleiades were famous for their beauty and as servants or companions to the goddess Artemis, and was often associated with rain, spring, and the ocean. Across various cultures, their story explains celestial phenomena, marks what? Apart my English here. Seasonal, yes, the season changes for agriculture. Yeah, it's late night here, so I'm sorry. And as usually, there's a reason why I am here, and it's because the Pleiades origins from the Milky Way center. So let's start here. Oh my God! And by the way, the Pleiades has always fiddled me because as you dig into the text, something just keep doing wrong. You just don't get the answers. But now I got it. The Pleiades are commonly believed to be the stars of the constellation Pleiades, but in reality they are much older and has nothing to do with any constellations, because the seven sisters are the seven stripes in the striped shadow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 7 is a very crucial number in many myths because of the 7 stripes in the Milky Way center here in the striped shadow. And in some myths it could also be 8 or 12, but 7, is like the most famous. And Pleiades, the name Pleiades means the many of Pleione, the mother. And Pleione is a personification of flocks or the plenty. So she is the mother of many. And yes, of course she is, because here we got the mother of the Pleiades. Well, maybe I think I'll use the pink color so I don't spoil my Da Vinci touch here on my drawings. So here you got the Pleione mother with her daughters, the seven sisters. So this is the origin of all the myths when you hear about the Pleiades, not the constellations up there. Okay, the seven sisters are related to rain and the ocean. And of course they are. And I'll just show you now what it means, and then I'll explain on the road here. Because their relation to rain and and the ocean is, of course, this is the ocean in the sky here. And the stripes, the Pleiades, is also the raindrops. And this is very crucial when we're talking about their connection to the agriculture and the seasons. Yeah, and that was my next point. Because the Pleiades is also related to the agriculture and season changes. And let me explain why. The good old story of the annual cycle of the Milky Way, which has been forgotten by everyone, it seems, because no one ever mentioned it anywhere. But now I'll do it for you. Okay, let me scrub the board here. This is the golden divine disk light in the Milky Way center. And this is the striped shadow here, the most important parts in the entire Milky Way center, or in the entire history of mythology. Because in the annual cycle of the Milky Way, it starts on December 25th, what we know as Christmas, where it lying horizontal on the horizon. And then it starts raising to its vertical position in the spring. And then we want some rain. But it's not the rain from the sky we want. Because when we reach the summer solstice or some days later, the Milky Way starts tilting. And when the rain in the Milky Way hits the horizon, just before the divine light in the Milky Way center disappears behind the sun, it's time for do your harvest. And that's why the Seven Sisters is related to the agriculture, because you must take your scythe here and you must harvest the wheat. So here you got it. So the Seven Sisters is like annual, measuring tool, because in the spring the Milky Way stands tall, and when it tilts, it's time for harvesting, and when it lay down, it's the winter season. So here you got it. Okay, let's read some more key features from the actual myth texts. The hunter Orion became infatuated with the sisters and pursued them across the earth for 7 years. Again, we got 7 years. And in pity, Zeus first transformed the sisters into doves and then later into a cluster in the sky. Okay, first of all, 7 years is an allegory again of the 7 stripes here, used for a lot of things I won't get deeper into here. But 7, is a crucial number. Very important, because there's 7 stripes here. And the doves they are turned into is also the 7 stripes here. And when we speak doves more than one, it's the stripes in the stripe shadow. But the dove myth is based on the white area here. The dove and the lamb, so to speak, in the Milky Way center. And then you can go watch my dove video to get further details. But this is the dove, and this is more than one doves here. And Orion is also a character made with inspiration of the Milky Way center, and you can go watch my Orion video to learn more. Okay, then let's jump directly into my discovery here, because that's the constellation Pleiades narrative. And to keep the Pleiades safe, Zeus put them among the stars as the constellation Pleiades. That's the commonly interpretation of the texts, but I don't find that text anywhere. I only find the text that Zeus puts them in the sky as a cluster. That's it. And that's exactly what he does. He put them here in the Milky Way center as a cluster of stripes. And maybe, depending on the etymology, it could be stars, but it's the stars in the Milky Way center. It's not the constellation. It's not Zeus that puts them in the constellation Pleiades. But let me read my notes here. And I wrote, let me be clear here. Because it's super important. Because it changed the entire perspective of ancient myth. From this video and at this moment, the Pleiades, the constellation Pleiades, is out of the picture. And that's big. So, the constellation Pleiades narrative is a great misinterpretation. Not a single world myth has ever been based on the constellation Pleiades. They were founded on the striped shadow in the Milky Way center. When Zeus placed the Pleiades among the stars, he is referring to the stars in the Milky Way center, not the constellations. The constellation Pleiades was first mapped in the sky more than 1,000 years later by Ptolemy. So, Ptolemy just used the Greek mythology to outline his constellation. And then we got the next problem here, because the constellation Pleiades only consists of 6 stars, and we got 7 sisters. And therefore, various explanations have been made to fit into the constellation narrative. That's used over and over again, because when we try to make a narrative based on the constellations, we just got a lot of missing links, and then we try to add on, with all kinds of stupid ideas, or the best theories we can come up with. But now I come up with one theory that is much better, because that's the original theory. All right. So this missing star is known as the lost Pleiade myth, that Merope, the last sister, hid in shame because she was the only sister to marry a mortal guy. But blah, blah, blah. No. You know where to find the last sister. She is in the Milky Way center. She has never been in the constellation. So that's it. Yeah, I have something with all these constellation narratives. It makes me... come on, man. Okay, and... just for the sake of understanding, let's do the etymology of the term or word Pleiades. Pleiades means plenty and is connected with to sail. A plenty of someone is sailing. And the early Greek poets referred to a flock of doves. Okay. And of course, the Pleiades of the Seven Sisters are the plenty sailing in the boat, and let me tell you exactly what they are talking about. Because the striped shadow here is the crescent. It's the boat in the sky, and all the sisters are in the boat here. This is also the Viking boat and all the oars and the Argo from Greek mythology and the Ark of Noah. It's all of them. So here you got the etymology connecting to sail and plenty sailing. Okay, and this is a very important subject, Pleiades, because there's so many myths, especially in the spiritual environment and New Age philosophy, occultism, and stuff like that. And let me once and for all kill it all. Then you have to find the. Then you can use the real Pleiadians to keep up the narratives in those pseudo systems or spiritual systems. Let me start here. The early seafarers used the Pleiades as a navigational beacon in the Mediterranean, but it was not the constellation Pleiades. It was the bright white light or the golden disk in the Milky Way center in the lap of the lady and the seven sisters. And, they were navigating after this lady here with her sisters, not the constellation Pleiades up there somewhere. In North America, several indigenous groups, such as the Lakota, view the Pleiades as a woman pursued by a bear, while others, like the Onondaga, describe them as starving children dancing their way into the sky. And yes, here we see all the. Let me make the crescent. It's important here because they are standing like in the crescent here, and it's they are dancing around, holding in each other's hands, and they and the woman pursued by a bear is of course the woman again here, and the bear. Let me take another color here. Is of course the same as the bull of heaven. The bear is this feller here. Here you got the bear in the sky. Yeah, and you can see here it's the back part. So this is the bear. And for those who want to know a little more of the bear, the paw of the bear and the lion is right here. And you can actually see the claws here. This is the paw of the bear and the lion and other animals. Okay, let's move on to Maori from New Zealand. Well, the Pleiades is known as the Matariki. The cluster signifies the new year, which is in their tribe in start of July, always in start of July, symbolizing a mother with her daughters. And I don't think I need to draw it again, but I'll do it. So here you got the mother with all her daughters. And of course, in the start or mid-July, the Milky Way tilting, the lady start her position standing on the horizon. And then now we better going to harvest or start the new year or whatever. Different cultures, different places in the world different annual festivals, but always the same marker in the sky, the Milky Way center. The sisters are also associated with the invention of ritual dances. And I forgot to write the source of this, but you already know the dancing sisters here. They dancing around in the circle. And in Celtic mythology, they are recognized, or they are the tears and sorrow. And the Pleiades here are the tears from the eye in the sky. The Milky Way center here is the eye, and they are the tears from the eye, and in many other world myths. In Hungarian mythology, they represent a hen with chicks. And of course they do, because let me outline the chicks here. And the great hen is of course the hen here in the Milky Way center, lying here. Bark, 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 with the chicks. In Western astrology and occultism, the sisters are associated with fennel, the plant. And yes, it is, because this part of the Milky Way here basically looks like a fennel, with these strange things coming out. So this is the fennel in the Milky Way center. And by the way, the striped shadow here in this area is always the vegetable area in the morsel world, where you plant all the season veggies. In Assiniboine, that's Indians, the seven youth decide to transform themselves into stars by climbing a spider web. And of course, again, we got the seven sisters here climbing in the spider web, which is of course the stripes again. So this is a double symbolism. Striped shadow is the spider web and the seven sisters here. And in Russia, the sisters are bound by wool. And for you who have seen my video of the Chrysomelos, the golden ram from Greek mythology, will also know that the striped shadow here is the wool of heaven. And here inside the wool, we got the seven sisters. And then let's jump to the Aztecs in Mesoamerica. And they connect the seven sisters to the marketplace. Marketplace. And the marketplace is, of course, the stripes here in the striped shadow. The city in the sky, and the place where things change hands, so to speak. And it's connected because the Aztecs' year began when the marketplace became visible just before sunrise. And a new year typically starts when the disk in the Milky Way center can be seen again after been hiding behind the sun since the autumn. So, when we got the December 25th here in the Western world, the Aztecs celebrated the exact same thing. We got Christmas here because that's the celebration of the coming of the light. And they used the same aspect just for a new year, so to speak. And let me see here. Yeah, it could also be the other side, because when the sun is hiding behind the sun, when the golden disk hides behind the sun, sorry, then we are around Halloween here, and when it comes back, we got the Christmas. And over there, if it's in the summer season, it's the striped shadow and it's ready for harvesting or sowing or whatever. Okay, let's move to China. There we got the Pleiades related to the hairy head. So they are the hair on the head. And of course they are, because the golden disc here is always the head in every single myth around the world. And the hair is always the striped shadow here. The hair of the woman, or hair of the beard of the gods or whatever. And let's jump to India, where the Pleiades is related to the knives or cutters associated with the star of fire. And let me outline the star of fire. That's the divine disk light here, the golden red light in the Milky Way center. And all the cutters are, of course, the Pleiades here. So there you got it. In Philippines, they represent the flock of birds, and it's also the striped shadow. And if we move to Australia, the first woman to learn to make fire. And yes, I don't know how they related to the Pleiades, but the first woman is, of course, the silvery shadow here, standing with her crossed legs, learning how to make fire here, the golden disk light. Okay, and then let's end this video with some biblical mythology, because Job is challenged to bind the chains of the Pleiades. And the chains of the Pleiades is, of course, the striped shadow. Again, it's always the chains of the Pleiades here. And then we got a commentary in the Jewish Talmud who say the Pleiades come from Mount Sinai. And of course they do, because if I outline the Pleiades here and the Mount Sinai here, then the Talmud is right. Of course it is. And then we can take just one for the Queen of Heaven. Because in Turkey there's a war law, or it's a combination with the Pleiades associated with the troops in battle formation. And the striped shadow here has also been used in many myths as the troops in battle formation. It's also the slain warriors in Norse mythology on their way into Valhalla, and a lot more. But now you know where to find the real Pleiades, and forget all about the constellations. That's not the origin of the mythologies around the world. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and until my next video, take care and good night. Bye.